Welcome to our English podcast. Let's practice speaking together.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Just Speak English podcast. I'm Chase.
And I'm Haley. So glad you're here with us today.
Today's episode is one I think a lot of you have been waiting for without even knowing it. We're talking about English for social media, how to express yourself online, naturally and confidently in English. Comments, captions, replies, posts, all of it.
Because, let's be honest, most English learners spend hours every day reading English on social media. Scrolling through Instagram, watching TikToks, reading tweets. But when it comes to actually writing something themselves, suddenly the words disappear.
And today, we're fixing that. Real vocabulary, real expressions, real examples of how native speakers actually write online. Subscribe if you're new here, and let's get into it.
5 words and phrases for today, and these ones are very much of the moment.
First, caption. A caption is the text you write alongside a photo or video when you post it. She spent 20 minutes writing the perfect caption for her travel photo.
Second, thread. A thread is a series of connected posts or messages, usually on Twitter or X, or in a comment section. He wrote a long thread explaining his opinion on the topic. Each post built on the one before it.
Third, engage. To engage means to interact with content or people online, liking, commenting, sharing, replying. The more you engage with others' content, the more people discover your own.
Fourth, vibe. Vibe is a very common informal word that describes the general feeling, mood, or atmosphere of something. I love the vibe of this account. It's always positive and creative.
And fifth, go viral. To go viral means for content to spread very rapidly online, reaching a huge audience in a short time. Nobody plans to go viral. It just happens when the right content reaches the right people at the right moment. Okay, caption, thread, engage, vibe. Go viral, let's go. Haley, why do you think so many English learners are comfortable reading English online but freeze when they have to write something themselves?
I think it's the permanence. When you speak, the words disappear into the air. When you write something online, it stays there. People can screenshot it, reread it, share it, and that permanence adds a layer of pressure that speaking doesn't have, especially when English isn't your first language and you're worried about making mistakes in public.
That makes complete sense. And I think social media adds another layer. You're not just worried about grammar, you're worried about sounding cool, sounding natural, sounding like you actually belong in that conversation. And that's a completely different kind of pressure.
Exactly. So let's break this down by platform and context, because the English you use on LinkedIn is very different from the English you use on Instagram, which is very different from the English you use in a YouTube comment section.
Let's start with Instagram and TikTok, since those are the most visual platforms. Captions on these platforms tend to be short, punchy, and personal. They often use sentence fragments, incomplete sentences, which would be wrong in formal writing but feel completely natural in a caption. Chasing sunsets and good conversations. Monday energy, let's do this. Not all who wander are lost.
That last one is from Tolkien, but it's been on about 50 million Instagram captions at this point.
Easily. And that's actually a good lesson. Social media English borrows heavily from quotes, song lyrics, movies, pop culture. So, the more you consume English content in general, the more natural your social media writing will feel.
For comments on Instagram and TikTok, some of the most common expressions include, "This is everything," meaning you love it completely. "I'm crying," meaning something is either very funny or very touching. not me doing exactly this, meaning you relate to the content. The way I screamed, meaning you reacted strongly and enthusiastically.
These expressions feel strange when you see them out of context. But in the flow of a comment section, they're completely natural. They're emotional reactions compressed into short phrases, and they signal to other native speakers that you understand the culture of the platform, not just the language.
What about LinkedIn? Because that's where a lot of our listeners probably need English most professionally.
LinkedIn is much more formal, but not stiff. The best LinkedIn posts in English are personal and professional at the same time. They often start with a hook, a short, punchy first line designed to make you stop scrolling. Something like, I almost didn't apply for that job. Or, 3 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. Then they tell a brief story and end with a takeaway or a question for the audience.
That structure, hook, story, takeaway, is worth memorizing. It works for almost any professional post. And the language is conversational but polished. Short paragraphs, white space between ideas. No jargon unless your audience definitely knows it.
Useful LinkedIn phrases include, I'm thrilled to announce, I'm incredibly grateful for, this experience taught me, one thing I've learned is, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. These sound professional without being robotic.
And what about replying to comments? Because that's something people really overthink. Someone leaves a comment on your post and you want to respond, but you don't want to just say thanks.
Right. Slightly more engaging replies include, this made my day, thank you. So glad this resonated with you. That's such a great point. I hadn't thought about it that way. Or thank you for taking the time to share this. Each of these is warm, genuine, and takes maybe 5 more seconds than just thanks, but creates a much stronger impression.
And I think there's a bigger point here about what social media in English can do for your learning. Most people use social media passively, they consume. But if you start engaging actively, commenting, posting, replying, you're getting real time feedback from a massive native speaker audience. You can see what lands, what gets responses, what sounds natural. It's one of the most accessible forms of output practice available to any English learner anywhere in the world.
That's such a great reframe. Social media isn't a distraction from English learning. If you use it actively, it is the English learning. Every comment you write is a writing exercise. Every reply you get is feedback. Every post you publish is a tiny act of courage and practice.
And don't be afraid to start small. You don't have to post a personal essay on LinkedIn or write a viral TikTok caption on your first try. Start by writing one comment per day on content you already enjoy. Just one sentence in English that adds something to the conversation. That's it. One sentence a day adds up to hundreds of real interactions over a year.
And here's the thing about making mistakes online. Most people are far more forgiving than you expect. A small grammar mistake in a comment is almost never noticed. What people notice is authenticity, genuine engagement, a real human being expressing a real thought. That always stands out more than perfect grammar.
Perfectly said. Be real before you be perfect. Because on social media, real is always more interesting anyway.
One more thing I want to cover, because I think it matters a lot for non-native speakers specifically. What do you do when you see slang or abbreviations online that you genuinely don't understand? Because English social media moves fast and new expressions show up constantly.
Oh, This happens to me all the time, even now. You see something like no cap, low key. It's giving rent free, main character energy. And if you didn't grow up with these, they can feel completely opaque.
So first, it's completely okay not to know every piece of internet slang. Native speakers don't always know all of it either. The internet generates new expressions faster than any dictionary can track. So feeling confused sometimes is normal, not a sign that your English isn't good enough.
And when you do want to understand something you've seen, the best resource honestly isn't a traditional dictionary. It's Urban Dictionary for slang, or simply searching the phrase on Google with meaning at the end. No cap meaning will give you a clear answer in seconds.
And here's the key thing about using slang yourself. Only use expressions you've seen used naturally in context multiple times. If you've only seen something once and you're not sure exactly what it means or when it's appropriate, don't force it into your writing. Misused slang stands out far more than no slang at all.
That's such good advice. Use what feels natural. Don't perform slang. Let it arrive organically as you absorb more content. The best way to pick it up is exactly what you're doing. Consuming a lot of authentic English content, paying attention to how expressions are used in context, and letting it seep in gradually.
And ultimately, the goal of English on social media isn't to sound like you were born speaking English. It's to sound like you, your personality, your humor, your perspective, expressed clearly and naturally in English. That combination, your authentic self in fluent English, is more interesting than any perfectly copied native speaker style.
Your authentic self in fluent English. I love that. That's what we're building toward with every single episode of this podcast.
Quick vocab recap. Caption, the text alongside a photo or video post. Thread, a connected series of posts or messages. Engage, to interact with content or people online. Vibe, the general feeling or mood of something. And go viral, when content spreads rapidly to a huge audience.
Key phrases from today for Instagram and TikTok comments. This is everything. Not me doing exactly this. The way I screamed. For LinkedIn, hook, story, takeaway structure. Plus phrases like, I'm thrilled to announce, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And for replies, this made my day, and so glad this resonated with you.
Comment below, what platform do you use most in English? And what's one thing you've always wanted to post but haven't yet? Tell us. We'd love to see it.
Next episode, we're going somewhere a little different. Stay tuned for that one.
Thank you so much for listening today. Subscribe if you haven't yet. It's free and it really helps us keep going. See you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.